Last episode, everyone. Woo! We made it. Episode 8. Okay, so scenes that stood out to me. Okay, scene number 1. The very first scene that stood out to me was when Jacob had that conversation with the man. And then the man asks him, out of all the gods there are, why did you choose to believe in an invisible one? And then Jacob says, well, we didn't choose him. He chose us. Which is so significant because, we were first chosen, we were first loved before we even decided to follow Jesus. So that was very significant to my heart and I really loved it. And then the second scene that really stood out to me was when Nicodemus chose to not follow Jesus. He sees them from the corner, sees them gathering, and he's thinking about the invitation of joining him, but then he doesn't. And then when Jesus says, oh, you were so close though, that really struck me. And Nicodemus was crying and crumbling because it was painful to decide to not follow Jesus wherever he goes. And then the third, very last significant scene was a Samaritan woman where she's at Jacob's well with Jesus, and you see how at first she's completely bitter and totally sarcastic and even rude to Jesus. I love that humor. And Jesus was so loving and so patient. He didn't condemn her at all. You could just see how passionate, compassionate and loving he was towards her. And then at the end where she realizes he's the Christ, she starts crying and suddenly she's so joyful. And then the other disciples come and are like, what happened? And she's like, he must be the Christ, he must be the Christ. And you see how she runs back into the city and she yells, he knows what I have done, he knows all the things I have done. And I love that scene because you see how she first is so sad and depressed and just hates everyone because she knows she's rejected, and then God doesn't reject her. She knows that, okay, Jesus doesn't reject me, and then she leaves joyfully. And we can learn from that as well, because there's joy in serving God and there is joy in sharing this gospel, and we can use our testimonies, how she said, oh, he knows all the things I have done. It's not something to be proud of, to have had 5 husbands, but when she knew that she was forgiven and that she was chosen, that changes everything, because that is her testimony now, and now she can go back into the city and say, oh, he counted all the things that I have done, he knows it all, but he still loves me and he still chose me, which we can do as well, because we can use our testimony saying, well, actually I did all these bad things, or I didn't believe in him, or I rejected him, but he still chose me. So those are one of the few scenes that I really loved, and there are many more. But I hope you enjoyed the series as well. And Fraser, I don't know how to end this episode, so you can just edit this out.